Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. I'm with the gang, we packing. We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fuck with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoe, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas, keep. You with me, sheesh. But need cheap, keep.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I blow soon, soon. Knew as a child back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my room, room. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm in a whip, so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in the room. I've been so real, I'm dead to the tomb. They in the way, they gotta move. I gotta gas, they running on fumes. Told them way back, it's something new. It's me and Dan, you gotta choose. I'm taking what's mine, I'm doing fine. Don't see the vision, they looking so blind. I hit my lower, I don't got the time. Crossing my T's and he dotting those eyes. Don't take offense if I do not oblige. I can't relate with like none of these guys. They hit me once and I'm cutting the ties. I was so low, but I'm back on the rise, it's real. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I blow soon, soon. Knew as a child back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my room, room. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm hopping now I gotta go. I'm looking back, they not even close. I had a 4, now I need a ghost. I got a wave like I'm on the coast. Same ones a doubt and I dare the show. So way that I'm ballin', they think I'm a pro. I'm getting sick by the money I gross. They saying whoa, I told them all what this is. I told them all I don't miss. Said it's my time, look at this shit on my wrist. And when they shootin' this breaks, I'm going in. In a new gig, gotta shift. I cannot stick to the script, I cannot wait. Watch how I get it and flip. It's just how I'm doing this shit and I'm gone. Just how I'm doing this shit and I'm gone. Ayy, just how I'm doing this shit and I'm gone.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide.
Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, guys. And Bitcoin with the new all-time high, currently sitting at about $126,198, guys. Is this the start of the final push? Is this where we see alt season finally start to catch up? Or is this all just another big fake out before a massive dump to the downside? We're going to be covering everything for you guys here on tonight's live stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Shout out to Sheesh. Josh says top is in. Well, we'll talk about that in just a second. We got K Diggity saying, I love you, Phoebe. Shout out to K Diggity in the chat, bro. Welcome in. We got the Dusty Hunt in the chat. Said, is Bitcoin a good stock? Shout out to the Dusty Hunt. It is only comparable to, I don't know what I was going to say. But shout out to the Dusty Hunt. Welcome in, bro. We got J. Cole in the chat. Said, what is going on, Frankie? Shout out to J. Cole. What is going on? We got Nirvana in the chat. We got Perry said, salute, Frankie. Welcome in, Perry. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Don't forget to smash that like button. What are we going to do today? Or what are we going to do this week? Let's go for 550 likes on tonight's live stream, guys. And, yeah, I think we can get it. If we get 600, yeah, let's go for 500 and 650. I think we could do it if you appreciate the free TA, if you appreciate the free market updates and these daily live streams, guys. It's the easiest and most free way to help out the channel. So we got a lot to look at today. We're going to be taking a look at some key levels of support down below in case we do get the continuation down. If you guys saw the market update that I posted earlier today, we were looking for a potential SFP of the high here, guys, and I did take a short, and then we went and took the high for a second time, and I got stopped out by like $100. So we'll cover that. Is this the SFP before a bigger drop down? We just tapped into a major spider line. I forgot who said that in the premium Discord, but shout out to whoever brought that up. But we got a lot to look at here on the charts. Jesse said, who's going to be last goat standing tonight? Shout out to Jesse. I think it's going to be you, bro. I think it's going to be you. You win every single time. I cannot beat you, bro. I cannot beat you. But guys, without further ado, thank you all for tuning in. Smash that like button. We got a lot to look at on the chart. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the chart. Shout out to Rudy. Let's get into it. All right, Stream Deck's not working, guys. Now, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Actually, hang on one second here, guys. I'm just going to fix this real quick. All right, there we go. Now the Stream Deck should work. Let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Don't make a fool out of me here, Stream Deck. All right, and it made a fool of me. All right, here we go. Let's go into it. All right, so what do we got going on here? Shout out to the Contrarian Trader. Welcome in, bro. Welcome in. Frankie with BTC hitting all-time high. Why are most of the alts nowhere near? Shout out to Regular Guy Trades. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that as well. I'll cover Bitcoin dominance. We'll cover the altcoins as well. But, guys, as we look here on the charts, obviously Bitcoin has put in – let me hide some of this local stuff here real quick. Obviously, Bitcoin putting in that new all-time high on Saturday night, Sunday morning, technically, sitting at about 125,897. And we did just sweep that high one more time here, guys. Is this finally going to be the big move up, guys? Obviously, we have been talking about how all the way back here, let me pull up the major support, right? $107,000 key support level. As long as we are able to stay above this level, guys, the doorway to new all-time highs was open. Got a little sketchy here at the 786 Fibonacci retracement, but we got the low, we got the high, we got the higher low, and the higher high into the new all-time highs. But the question is, are we going to get another sweep of liquidity here? We got the SFP here before a massive drop down. We got the excuse me, I know you can't really see it up here, but we got the SFP here before a massive drop down. Are we just going to get another massive swing above this level before another correction to the downside, guys? That's what I want to cover on today's live stream, and obviously the next moves on the short time frames, long time frames, etc. But obviously holding above that $107,000 level did keep the doorway open to new all-time highs, and here we are, guys. We're not crazy. We're not crazy, guys. Obviously breaking down below 107K would have been much more bearish, and obviously massive support down here. Bull market support band, anchored VWAP, golden pocket value area high, the previous range. And if you guys remember way back in the day when we got this initial breakout, kind of our original thought process was, hey, we have major support here down on not only the golden pocket, right there in all of its glory. Let me change that to just our entry zone, right? So we have the golden pocket, we have the anchored VWAP pulled from $75,000, and we also had the bull market support band. And this was part of the reason why this was such an important level of support to hold, because if we were unable to hold this value area high, right, this is kind of the most important, in my opinion, when it comes to these key levels of support. Obviously, a lot of confluence, but once you lose that value area high, guys, there was an opportunity to get accepted into this profile to get a much bigger correction to the downside, which is why it was beautiful, and it did keep the doorway open to hold above that 107K level. And I'm going to talk about some targets to the upside, next all-time high targets if we do continue up, and the possibilities of a pullback here, because obviously in the market update earlier, we looked for that SFP. And I did enter here on the lower time frames, guys. I took an entry here on the 15-minute swing failure pattern, and I did wind up getting stopped out, like literally perfectly. They got me, guys. They got me. Took the short like right here, stop loss right above the high, and they just took me out before sending it back down. Absolutely ridiculous, guys. Oh my God, I'm never going to recover. But no, I'm just kidding. But, when we see this all-time high, what the heck is this? Oh, is that the bull market support band? Get this the heck out of here. Bada boom. So the question is, guys, is this finally that big kind of finale of the bull market that we've been talking about to, again, hold up on top of $107,000 and see that final parabola to the upside, pushing into much higher prices for Bitcoin? And again, we've talked about many a times the timing of the cycles here, guys, and it is, Bitcoin got to get moving pretty quickly here, and it made a lot of sense to see a final move up here as we approach kind of the longest it's ever taken us to go from the halving to an all-time high. So again, if you believe in that 4-year cycle, you do have to understand kind of where we sit in that cycle, getting very close to where you could be potentially anticipating a top to come in. But the nice thing is we do still have some room to come up, and I'll cover those bull market targets with you guys. I'll cover some of the local targets as well. We're going to cover everything on tonight's live stream, so you guys are all prepared. But when we look here at our money flow, I will say we got the SFP here, right? We got the SFP of this previous high if you're looking at the higher time frames, specifically a daily time frame. We got the wick above, the closure down below. Now we're trying to get back above here. Is this going to end up just being a second swing failure pattern before a correction? Well, if we look at our daily VWAP, you can see that VWAP is coming to the downside, looking for a potential red dot on the daily. And this could potentially, right? This is what I'm going to be looking for. This is what I talked about on that market update, saying if we get that red dot, we might be able to see a little bit of a retracement. And as always, guys, not chasing long positions up here, right? There is no reality that exists where I am going to be looking for long positions after a massive move up like this. I know the FOMO, you got to try to mute those emotions, guys. I know the FOMO gets real when you get these pushes to the upside if you're not holding any long positions, but this is not a place where I would necessarily be looking to enter a long position. It doesn't mean that we can't continue up, but for me personally, the only thing I can look for up here is shorts. Obviously, got to be careful shorting all-time highs, but the last time we shorted the all-time high, we wound up getting a nice drop down to $107,000, and we did capitalize that in the premium Discord. So, I'm always open to those short positions as we push into highs. And, how far can we retrace here before this looks less like a retracement and more like a massive fake out for a massive dump to the downside? Well, I'll tell you right now, personally, this red dot is going to be what I'm looking at to potentially start our bigger drop to the downside. There's some things we can look at on the lower time frames as well, but yeah, man, I wish I did not get stopped out of this short position. Very frustrating here. Just literally stopped out by a tiny bit. And that's kind of the risk that you take when you take those lower time frame entry triggers. But when you look at the 4-hour time frame here, higher time frame, we do now have the confirmed 4-hour swing failure pattern. So we got the sweep, the closure down below, confirmed SFP with our 4-hour red dot looking to print. And this is that lower time frame signal that I was just talking about. 4-hour red dot is obviously going to print probably before the daily red dot. This could be the first indication that we might start the pullback from here. We sweat the liquidity above. Technically, you don't really have a 4-hour bearish divergence here. You have the higher highs on your price action, kind of just higher highs on your momentum waves. So no bear div there. But if we do... with the 4-hour red dot printing, we can look at this 15-minute money flow. As always, guys, that market cipher B 1/16th strategy with that 15-minute money flow crossing into the red at the same time as that 4-hour red dot, which is not printing just yet, but this is going to be the first thing that I'm looking at to continue that move to the downside. I would expect that 15-minute money flow to potentially be the first thing or the next thing to start that initial bigger drop to the downside. So I'm kind of hoping that we can get a little bit of a retracement here so I can try to find another entry before finally getting that 15-minute money flow crossover back into the red to continue that correction to the downside. Now, with that being said, right, obviously, this is very bullish. We've gotten an extremely big move to the upside. We have the, last week, we looked at the 4-hour money flow crossing into the green, indicating that we would see the continuation of this trend to the upside. And on top of that, if we pull up our local levels here, let's pull up that current range, right, we flip that value area low to support. With the 4-hour money flow crossing into the green, letting us know the trend will continue up. And then based off the volume profile, you are looking to flip that value area low to support, making the next stop the POC. And then after that, the value area high. And we are finally getting that breakout. And what was that big level that we looked at to indicate that we would see all-time highs, guys? It was the macro 786 Fibonacci retracement from the high to the low here. Sitting right here, we got a little bit of turbulence on that 786, but we held it as support. Once you get above that, that is the doorway to new all-time highs. And here we are sitting at $125,000. So I'm going to be careful of pullbacks here, guys. Again, SFP, we do have no 4-hour bear div. We got a little bit of a 3-hour bearish divergence. Red dot is printing again. I would look at this as a medium time frame kind of signal, right? I'm not looking at this, could it turn into a much bigger drop to the downside? Sure. But, based off of that 4-hour money flow being very, 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 very thick in the green, in time frames like the weekly, you can see the weekly money flow is still looking pretty healthy here, curving back to the upside. 6-day money flow also curving back up here. We still have some of those mixed signals. 4-day attempting to pop back up here a little bit. But again, that 4-day money flow overall is trending down. But at this point, guys, right, hold above 107K. We look for new all-time highs. Really on this retracement down, if we do get it from here, there are some really, really big key levels of support that I'm going to be looking at. And, to be honest, I think personally, right, catching new long positions is going to be difficult, right? Now, we could look for low, and I'll bring up the local levels as well. I have that range pulled up on the chart here. We have some local levels we can look at down here. But for the most part, right, like the big significant levels, if we pull up our daily naked points of controls, right, we have a daily MPLC sitting down here right on our range high, very similar to pretty much the same thing that we looked at on the market update, sitting between about 120,000 and 119,126. This is always going to be a level of support, right? So if I am able to catch another short entry here and we get a drop down and we start taking out these lows, this is kind of the first level I'll be looking at for a bounce. However, right, once we get down here, if we have money flow coming out, we do have to be careful, right? Because it would be really nice to hold this as support. But to be honest, if we look at this from a naked chart perspective, just pull off our range, right? If we're just looking at this as simple price action with Fibonacci retracements, significant levels, guys, like big retracements, pull from the low all the way to the high here. Golden Pocket 786 retracement is sitting between about 115,387 down to about 114,785. And then we have the 786 sitting down here at $112,000. From a simple chart perspective, this is technically okay, right, if we pull back down in here. Now, would I love to get accepted back into this volume profile? Not really, but, at the end of the day, if we get this pullback and we come down to this value area high, Do I want to lose this? Now, if we do, right, I'm going to be anticipating a push down to the POC. At that point, what is money flow doing? We could take a look at something like the 1 hour, even the 2 hour money flow, which generally could be trending out. It's pretty thick in the green. Keep that in mind. But when we look at some of our higher time frames here, 12-hour green dot, 16-hour green dot, this is one of those situations when you get a big move up. This is not a place where I'm FOMOing into longs. The only thing I can look for is shorts, but you gotta be very careful, right? Just like up here, we shorted the all-time high. We got that big move down, but I'm being very careful, right? I have tight stop losses because, anytime you short an all-time high, people are always like, what are you doing, bro? That is absolutely a suicide mission. But as always, right? Everyone gets bullish at the high. Oh my God, FOMO, FOMO, FOMO. And we get those technical signals to look for the short. And technically, we do have a potential situation up here with that SFP to look for a pullback. But again, I would be looking at it as a pullback for now. And even if we did get an aggressive drop down here, perfect situation, we bounce off that value area high and we get the push up. And again, I'll bring up those lower time frame levels as well. But again, $120,000, big level to look at, value area high of the previous range. And then if we break back down in there, of course, we're going to be expecting that POC at about 117,681. And then, for me personally, I would rather see these retracement levels get tapped because we do have confluence on these levels. Golden pocket, daily naked point of control. Right there, right? So first zone would really be sitting on that golden pocket daily and POC. Sitting between 115,387 and 114,392. If we can't hold that, right, I always prefer to see the value area low tapped. This is typically where I'm looking for new long positions. But at the end of the day, guys, I'm not saying that we can't continue up from here. Even if we get a little pullback and a continuation up, I'm not saying that's impossible. But for me personally, I am still holding the long position from down here. So, it's just I'm just going to hold this long position, right? We've already got a massive move up. In my opinion, if you are not long from the lows or even on this retracement down this retracement down onto the value area low, these are the places to look for longs. At this point, we've already had a massive move to the upside. And in my book, right, this is too late to be looking for the long position, right? You're basically longing the top. Again, doesn't mean you can't continue up. I don't say that because I don't think we can continue up. I just say that because it's just where's your stop loss going to go in a situation like this? Maybe below this low? And again, I'm going to talk about those next targets to the upside. We are kind of pushing right into resistance here. So it's just not a great risk to reward. So I personally, for a new big long position, significant long position, I would at least want to wait down till $120,000. If not, I would always prefer to get that Fibonacci golden pocket 786 retracement. And again, if we come down to that 786, you have the value area low, 786, and just the idea of being at that value area low is typically where we want to look for long positions. It's exactly why we had a long setup in the premium from right here on the retest of this value area low. It's always going to be the higher probability situation. But, again, I can't guarantee that we're going to get that pullback. So we have to keep these levels in our head, right? 120K at first. Lose that. I'm looking to come back down to these golden pocket 786 retracements. Very, very simple. And also in the market update, I brought up the anchored VWAP from this local low here. I do like to pull these from swing lows, or technically this actual low right down here would be the real one to look at. But locally, if we pull it from this low right here, you can see it is somewhat potentially going to become confluent with that value area high, right? So if we can come on down there and this is all confluent, I will be looking for longs here, but I will treat them as scalps until proven otherwise, because if money flow is coming out at the same time as we get this retracement, I'm going to be looking for lower highs and lower lows, potentially targeting the much bigger targets down here between $115,000 and $112,000. You can look at this as a massive zone, or you can separate it into two separate zones. I prefer to look at them as separate zones, but these are the three biggest higher time frame key levels of support to look at. 120K and then 115.3 all the way down to 112.3. 100% the bigger levels. And again, this is going to move, right? So I don't know exactly where this is going to fall. Hopefully it could come confluent with the value area high. That would make me feel a little better about potentially a bigger bounce here. But I can't say that until we get down there, because if money flow looks bad, you guys know money flow comes out, it's crossing into the red. I'm looking for bounces, lower highs and lower lows. And although this looks really, really scary, it is an area where you can put in a higher low before another big move to the upside. Yes, I would prefer holding 120K, but those are the key levels to look at to the downside or those are the ones that I'm looking at, right? I'll go over the local levels. I kind of hesitate to go over these super hyper local levels. But I'll share them with you guys. I'm going to come into chat real quick here before we move on. It comes down, shout out to R Pink, says, if it comes down to that far, that could make it a multi 1-2 wave into a 3 off into a blast off 3. Yeah, potentially. And again, I would just be looking at it as a Fibonacci retracement. You're talking about Elliott waves, I assume. Not that that's bad or anything, but yeah, I don't know. Elliott waves just don't click in my brain. I find them very confusing. I don't know if it's just the way my brain works. Probably one of the big things, one of the big kind of TA tools that I want to try to incorporate into my analysis, but I don't really look at them unless it's like super high time frame. But definitely could be the case, right? But, it's an if this, then that. If we come down here, these are like we need some kind of a significant retracement before local levels here. But these would all be treated as scalps until proven otherwise. So let's go ahead and cover those positions, or not positions, but cover those key levels right now. So I'm going to take that current range off. Actually, I'll leave this up. Right, so just very simply, here's your volume profile, deviation below the low, flip it to support, fill the range. Now we're trying for the breakout. Hopefully this can sustain. But again, the beautiful thing about the volume profiles is like once you lose this, right, it's like, well, hey, getting that rotation down to the low is very nice. And if we can get that full 786 retracement, it'd be a beautiful place to put in the higher low, assuming that market cipher looks good down there. But if we do kind of cool off lower time frame here, again, SFPs, 4-hour red dot potentially looking to print. I do think you can get the pullback here. That candle, that 16-hour candle just flipped red. Let me pull up those local levels of support. So let me get rid of these anchored VWAPs real quick because it's messing up my scale here. All right, so there we go. So SFP, right? If we can't get back above this 786, we can look to come down to this local range. So these are low time frame levels, guys. Next, local key levels of support, kind of similar to what we just looked at. It's kind of like it's like kind of like fractals, right? It's like almost the same exact thing, but just on a lower time frame. If we continue down, right? Value area high, POC is confluent here over the medium term. This would be an aggressive place to bounce, but like once we get down here, guys, that 15-minute money flow is probably coming out with a 4-hour red dot. I'm probably looking for at least a bit of a bigger continuation to the downside. So I'm not really looking at this as a key level, but it is important to understand it is your value area high. But for the most part, when we look at our Fibonacci retracements, I'll pull it to the new high here because we did pop up just a bit. Golden pocket sits between 123,357, and then you have the 786 value area low, a little bit of a bigger zone there, sitting at 122,551 and $122,004. These levels, right? And again, I would always prefer to get down to that value area low, which will move, by the way, right? If we come back down in here, we lose that value area high. We are simply, and POC, right? These are slammed up right against the high of the range. Once we lose this zone, I'm expecting eventually to get down to that value area low. If I take any longs off these levels, these are going to be looked at as scalp long positions, right? I'm going to view these within the context of the volume profile. If price breaks back down in here, we can extend that profile further to the right. Right, I'm not incorporating this price action right now, but if we come back into the range, I will extend that to the right, which might potentially bring our value area low up, which would be nice because it would be a lot more confluent with that 786. But just to be clear here, any of these scalp long positions, guys, are going to be looked at as scalps until proven otherwise. Because again, if this dump to the downside has money flow coming out, I will probably be anticipating lower highs and lower lows to, again, come down to those bigger levels of support, the more significant levels of support. And there's not a ton of confluence up here either, right? You have the value area low 786, but there's no real daily MPOCs or anything like that. So just to kind of cover the short term, we do, potential bounces here, but I'm going to be looking at them as day trades. And then, if they turn into bigger trades, that's great. But I would still say, I would not be looking for, massive long positions up here. It's just too late, right? And I hate to say that. I know a lot of people probably are missing this move and feel the FOMO. Please, for the love of God, fight that FOMO, guys. Fight that FOMO. Think about all the people who FOMO'd in long up here. Absolutely cooked. Think about all the people FOMOing in short here. Even when we came down to 107K, what do I say? We are short from the all-time high. I am not looking for long shorts down here. The only thing I can look for is long positions. It is too late to short here. You've already gotten a massive move down, and price action is just dumping, right? You want to get those short entries, even on retracements. Even an entry on this retracement back up would have been a much better entry than trying to FOMO short at the bottom. Right, and what do? We look for the longs, and we take those longs. We rode it all the way up. We shorted the high here. Again, people probably feeling very bullish. We understand that could be a lower high on our Fibonacci retracements. We have the golden pocket sitting right there. Beautiful reaction. Not the place to FOMO long. It is the place to be looking for shorts. You have to think like a contrarian, especially if you want to be a trader. It doesn't mean that the long-term continuation up can't happen, but from a trading perspective, for me personally, this is just too late, right? If I was not holding my long position from down here, I would not be looking for longs, right? The only thing I can look for is shorts, even if it is just going to be a lackluster retracement for higher lows and higher highs. And the real question is, how high can we go? Let me see some prices in the chat. How high can we go, guys? What are your price targets for the next move to the upside? And maybe some bull market targets as well. Make sure you specify so I know what you're talking about. Shout out to Golden with the super chat. Golden in the chat said this feels like when at 106K all-time high, hit a second time massive fake out. Shout out to Golden. Always prepared. I mean, you're always prepared, but speaking of myself, always prepared for the fake outs here, guys. And especially when you get those SFPs, guys, like, again, we've seen this. Like, this cycle has just been like all-time fake out central. All-time high fake out, shorted the heck out of that bad boy. All-time high fake out. I mean, if we get a daily SFP here, well, this is the 2-day, right? But if we get another daily swing failure pattern here to confirm with the red dot printing, so understand these daily red dots can cause those bigger retracements. So we'll see. Is it a fake out? Is it a trap? And again, I'm not saying a trap into the bear market necessarily just yet. Again, $107,000 is really the level that, if lost, shows major signs of weakness for me on Bitcoin. But if you are going to be looking for those major retracements again into the 115, $3 to $112,000 zone, again, confluent with your daily MPOCs and value area low. If we're going to get those bigger retracements down, that daily red dot might be the thing to do it. And again, maybe we have opportunities tomorrow. Maybe we're sitting down here, it looks really good, and we long it. But it can't really call for that until we come down and interact with those levels. But daily red dot printing, SFP. Hopefully we can close that daily candle above here. Not that I would think that's super significant, but it would be better than not seeing the daily candle closure up there. But again, even all the way back here, right? All-time high. Fake out. Did it mean that we were going down forever? No, but it did indicate that we were going to come sweep out some of that liquidity. So it's kind of the same situation, right? Sweep the highs, smash that liquidity, sweep the highs, smash the liquidity, sweep the highs, smash out some of this stuff here, potentially in the cards. Now, again, that doesn't make me bearish long term. It'd be okay to get that healthy pullback, to get that bigger move to the upside. But yeah, we'll see. I do think that daily red dot is going to be the indication to get that bigger continuation down. And then lower time frame, look for the 4-hour red dot and that 15-minute money flow crossover into the red. You guys know almost every time we talk about these market cipher B116 strategies, we come back up the next day if it winds up playing out, and we look at that 15-minute money flow crossover, and it is indeed literally where those bigger moves down continue. Whether it's the 15-minute or the 30-minute and the 8-hour, I think more recently we were looking at the right here, right? One of those big things that indicated the continuation to the downside was this 30-minute money flow crossover. We got the initial drop down, the retracement, and then the continuation right on that 30-minute money flow crossover, because we had an 8-hour red dot printing at the same time. It's kind of the same thing here, just with the 4-hour and the 15-minute. So we'll see what happens, right? But overall, right, I would be okay with bigger retracements before potentially bigger moves up. Where do we think we're going, guys? 132,600 near term, 152,400 by the end of 2025. Shout out to MCS, 130K Bitcoin. Shout out to Mr. Call. Definitely something that I'm looking at as well, and I will bring up my upper targets here. Doge season loading. Shout out to Aussie. We're going to get into the altcoins in just a minute. Shout out to Suncoast Goats, said #1 East Coast competition goats. Let's go, bro. Ship me one out. You could sponsor the channel. Sponsored by Suncoast Goats. Let's go. Somebody, if you breed competition goats, guys, I don't know what goats compete in, but if you breed goats, please sponsor the channel. I pray for nothing more than to be able to hold a goat, a baby pygmy goat, up here on the live stream one day, guys. I'm going to do it. Full moon tonight. Could be bullish. Shout out to R-Pink. 135K. Not too bad. Golden with another super chat. Hang on one sec. Thank you for the super chat, Golden. Says over the 106K all-time high. The second time it hit 106K. Overlay that with now. 106K all-time high. Let's see. Let's pull a fractal here. 106K all-time high. Let's pull a bars pattern here. Bada boom, bada bing. Oh, I think you're probably talking more specifically just on that first top. Shout out to Golden. I think this is probably what you're looking at. Something like this. I'll have to resize it a bit. A little bounce off the... Oh, lower high. Oh, back in the range. Hopefully we can put the higher low in here, though, and not lose this for the bigger move down, which is funny because losing that 786 would indicate the much bigger drop to the downside. But But yeah, I mean, we look at that price action as well. Yeah, I mean, it was really choppy, right? Like, so we come up. Yeah, we swept it. And then get the bigger move down. Shout out to Golden. Yeah, definitely similar. Kind of the same exact thing I'm looking for here. If we get that SFP, right? Like, get that cool off. I'm hoping that it's not just going to be that massive drop down. I'm hoping for something like that if we have to get the bigger retracement. And ideally, maybe we come down and hold the value area high. That would be great. But again, bigger levels are definitely sitting down here with the confluence on those MPOCs. The reason I bring up the 120K is not only because of the value area high situation, but it also technically has that confluence of the daily MPOC and potentially the anchored VWAP if it starts moving up as well. Where's it at? Bada boom, right? So if we can get that confluent, that would be very, 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 very nice. But again, it all depends on money flow. You can come down there, it could look like trash. I would just expect the bigger move down. But shout out to Golden. Definitely looks similar. I mean, not front run, but all-time high fake out central, right? This entire cycle. Every all-time high just gets front ran. We get the bigger continuations. Shout out to Crash said, a friend of mine owns and runs a small goat farm. You can glamp at it with the little goats. Shout out to Crash. Please send me a DM somewhere, and maybe we'll do a vlog, and we'll go glamp with goats. That would be hilarious. Just going live from the middle of a field with, like, goats running around, that would be absolutely lit. First 106K to second 106K, 106K, 106K. So maybe you are looking at that full move there, Golden. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, somewhat similar. Have to stretch it out a bit. Yeah, I mean, just a simple fake out of the all-time highs. Like, literally, this, not only the same thing as that, right? But also same thing here as well, right? And that's why I'm always open to those short positions, guys. And at the end of the day, I am still holding my long position here. Now up about 12,500, got 862 locked in here on fees, which is crazy. But, for me personally, right, like, I could take stabs at some of these shorts, right? I'm still covered very heavily long. So, I got stopped out twice last week, one at break even, one at a loss, and then I got stopped out this morning for a small loss. But those tiny losses do not eat into my gains from the long end at all, pretty much, right? I guess that eats it a little bit. So, I am comfortable taking shots at shorts here, right? A lot of people be like, why are you fading the strength? It's like, I mean, I'm just not risking a ton, right? It's like, I'm willing to risk $100. If Bitcoin rips up to 130K, I'm going to make a ton more money on the long. It's going to cover that loss plus profit. So kind of a really cushy position to be in, honestly. So yeah, I mean, the signal is there. You got the 4-hour SFP. We'll see if that red dot prints. That is the main thing I will be looking at to start the bigger drop to the downside. I would love this retracement to continue up just a little bit. Let me pull from this lower high. Yeah, pushing into golden pocket 786, some local resistance here as well. So I'll actually set an alert on this 786, see if we can break it. I would love a little bit more of a retracement. Give me a second chance to enter. I was so close. I took the short. They stopped me out. They got me, guys. I'm embarrassed. They stop hunted me, guys. And I was trading the SIP, and they still got me. All right. Shout out to Crash said, you're welcome to come to the Channel Islands. Where he's at, they literally don't have roads, only one shop, but 3 pubs. Shout out to Crash. That sounds like a fun island. I'm not going to lie. We may never come back. I'm just going to become an island boy. I'm just trying to I'm an island boy. Anyway, all right, so we'll see here. We'll keep an eye on the local price action here on Bitcoin, guys. But exciting to see Bitcoin hopefully finally finishing that parabola to the upside, and even in the grand scheme of the 4-year cycle, guys, hopefully, if you have been watching the channel ever since we got the major breakout of our range here, the thought process was initial breakout. It's okay to come down and retest the value area high, but we got to hold that level to continue to see massive new all-time highs on Bitcoin. It seems like it could be on the cusp. But again, I don't want to sound like I'm spreading fear or anything, right? Like, even if we get this fake out in a big correction, I'm not necessarily calling for zero. This is very bullish, right? Like, last week was a very, very bullish week for Bitcoin, right? Like, almost no real pullbacks, right? Like, the one opportunity that we had in the premium to take the long position after the initial pump was this retracement down to 112,600. Other than that, right, like, it's just tiny pullback continuation, tiny pullback continuation, tiny pullback, just continuing to push up here. So definitely showing a lot of strength here which is nice. 4-hour money flow deep in the green. So I'm not holding a short as of right now. I would be if I didn't get stopped out. So just only holding the long as of right now. We'll see if we get that big of a retracement. But I do want to keep an eye here and take a look at the altcoins, guys. Is alt season on the way? Is it on the cusp, guys? Well, as you know, as we've covered that longer situation with the initial breakout, range retest, this would open up the door, not only based off the Bitcoin price action, but also the Bitcoin dominance still technically looking weak on the higher time frames. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to pull up. Bitcoin dominance still looking weak on the higher time frames as I looked at in the market update. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss these urgent market updates. But if we get that continuation up, obviously we have been looking at that daily money flow cooking to the upside. We even talked about how if this money flow continues up, right, Bitcoin might be this thing to steal the show for a little bit, right? If that dominance continues up, obviously Bitcoin is going to outperform the altcoins. Somebody asked, how is Bitcoin at all-time highs and the alts are so far away? Well, we might see that continue to happen if we see this dominance come into the 60.48% to 61.47% zone. This is a golden pocket 786 retracement. If that money flow continues up, we could anticipate that trend to continue. Do I think this cancels alt season? No. Do I think it would probably stall out the altcoins or continue to have the altcoins lag? Maybe correct. Sure. But when we take a look from a higher time frame perspective, as we have every single live stream forever, 2-day money flow still continuing into the red. VWAP coming down as well. 3-day money flow crossing into the red. And even our 4-day here coming out very aggressively with these VWAPs attempting to roll over here. So from a long-term perspective, guys, this is what you want to see for an alt season to potentially come in. Not alt season starts today, right? But this is what you want to see. You have to anticipate the noise, anticipate the bing bongs up and down. But long-term, this money flow is definitely headed in the right direction for an alt season to eventually come in. So very nice to see. And although I do think we are probably closer to the top on Bitcoin than we are from like the start of the bull market, you know, again, you're going to see if we continue up here, we might be able to get retail to come back in. Retail has been absent for quite some time. But, you know, retail is going to come in and think that the bull market is just starting. Oh, my God, golden super cycle. We're going up forever. Now, it's not that I don't think we can get up to 200K, but we have to be very careful because if this is going to be one last parabola, understand that every top on Bitcoin has come in right here, 2021, Q4, 2017. Move it over here so you can see. 2017, Q4. 2013, Q4, right? So it just makes total sense that we could see that all-time high come in here. And when you look at this from the cycle perspective on the higher time frames, right, we have this October 20th level marked out. Now, this is not where I expect the top to come in because it's October 20th, and that's the same amount of time. Like, this is 4-year cycle over. It has to top out there. But you know, it would make a lot of sense to have that final parabola come in. We've been talking about how Bitcoin kind of has to get going because we're getting very close to where you would expect the end to come in here. And what is retail going to say? They're going to think the bull market is just starting. This bull market, or at least for Bitcoin, I do still think a lot of the opportunity is left in altcoins. But Bitcoin has been running up very, very nicely here throughout this entire cycle, almost alone, right? Other than Ethereum finally getting a pop into a new all-time high. You know, we've been in this cycle for quite some time. It's been performing very, very, very well. And this is definitely not the beginning of the bull market, right? Especially if you follow the 4-year cycle, which I tend to believe, or I fall on the side of Bitcoin and crypto following the traditional markets. As long as the traditional markets are doing good, Bitcoin is going to follow. This is not really my opinion. It's just kind of what we've seen. If you overlay the stock market on Bitcoin, I have a bunch of videos where I've done that. It just tracks, right? So, but if you do believe in the 4-year cycle, you would see this and be like, well, hey, man, we are probably coming up to the end. And where do we see retail get the most excited? Right, towards the top, right? And then we get that final blow off top, and pretty much the retail becomes exit liquidity, right? But I'm only talking about Bitcoin here, right? Because if we see that roll over into altcoins, right, maybe people take profits on Bitcoin, rolls into the alts, there's obviously a lot of opportunity in the altcoins because as someone said in the chat earlier today, right, altcoins are pretty lagging behind, right? Bitcoin's been at making all-time high after all-time high after all-time high, and here we are on Cardano, still, you know, 250% away from its all-time high. Right, we have Chainlink, right, still 126% away from its all-time high. We have a lot of altcoins still pretty decently off their all-time highs. And the question is, right, like, are we going to see the altcoins kind of catch up to Bitcoin? And happening at the end of the cycle is pretty plausible in my opinion, right? See that final phase of the bull market, wrap up towards Q4, Bitcoin goes into its last move up. Hopefully it goes higher than this, and I'm going to cover those higher bull market targets with you guys right before we jump into the altcoins. I forgot to do that. And then we'll jump into Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and we'll take some requests from chat. Quick reminder, please do not super chat your altcoins. Let's see. Shout out to Crypto Independent, said we never had institutions in with us. It's a little different. Yeah, for sure. I would agree, right? Me personally, right, I think, or not I think, but like the stance I take is like every cycle is a little bit different, right? And like the quirk this cycle is we did make a new all-time high before the halving, and we obviously have a lot of institutional interest at this point as well. This is a difficult situation, right? Because people are going to be calling for golden super cycle, institutions. Oh my God, Bitcoin's the most fundamentally bullish it's ever been. You guys have heard me make this spiel 100 times. I don't know. Like this time is different, people, right? People were saying, yeah, but like you don't understand. Like Coinbase IPO, like this time is different. It's never been different. And again, right, macro markets can help us kind of identify if it's really going to be different, right? If the stock market continues to pump into 2026, well, hey, Bitcoin's probably going to follow. So you can see it. I'll never be someone who's going to say it's definitely not going to be different, but where I stand is I have to anticipate this to be the same thing, right? Everyone says this time is different every single cycle, right? I've been in since like 2016, right? Like every time it's just like we're going higher, especially here is like this time is different, 30K is the bottom. The nice thing is when you understand how to read the charts, there's going to be signs, right? So when I bring up these next targets, I'll just jump into that right now. The next bull market target that I will be looking at, the next major macro target, pulled up on this chart, right? I'm just simply going to pull my fib from the high to the low of the bear market. Come on. We'll pull up those Fibonacci extensions. I'm going to take that 1, 2, 3, 6 off. Right, first bull market target for me was sitting between $92,000 and $102,000. Boom, we hit that. I did take slight profits on my Bitcoin up there, not a ton, but it was bull market target number 1. Bull market target number 2 is sitting up here. If you've seen any of my deep dives on Bitcoin where we cover these macro targets, sitting right here between 137 and 155K. This will be very nice, very bullish, very nice. But is that next target, right, macro-wise? We have some local targets we can look at. I do think locally 130K is going to be a big level to watch. It's kind of the next psychological level. So if, we don't get the pullback from where we are now, right, 130K is going to probably be that next stop for me. But over the long term, right, if we get up to 137 to 155, 156K, this is a big level, guys. If it looks like there is a macro top forming here, I do not care if institutions are in, if people think that institutions are just going to keep pushing this up, right? If it looks like on the charts there is a macro top forming here, and honestly, if we see the signals and retail is super bullish saying buy the dip, it might even make me believe the bearish case even more. Now, again, there is still plenty of room to come up here. This could be very exciting, but I just don't want everyone to get caught off sides because I can guarantee you once the retail comes back in, it's buy the dip, and those are the dips I don't buy, right? What did everybody think here? Bear market. Oh my God, Frankie, is this thing dead forever? Right? Those are the dips you buy. Same thing down here. Oh my God, is this the bear market? Obviously, I did not think this at any point on either of these lows. I was very explicit about, this very likely not being the start of the bear market. I don't know why people would think this was the start of the bear market, but here, right, very confident this was not the start of the bear market. But once we get this close to this deep in the cycle, right, again, pulling up the this is timing-wise. If you believe in the 4-year cycle, you would think that this is coming to an end. Maybe the 4-year cycle changes. Definitely not impossible, but it's too soon to just expect that, right? If we get up here and there's no macro tops forming and it looks really, really bullish, well, then maybe we can look up towards some higher targets, towards 160, 170, maybe even 200K. But until we see that information, guys, I have to go with what history has told us, right? So, yeah, it's just like too soon. It's just like everyone want 100K here. I don't know why, right? Like the only thing they were saying is like Bitcoin's more bullish than ever, right? And it's like that. I mean, that doesn't mean that I'm bearish on Bitcoin as an asset, right? Like just because Bitcoin's more, this is true, right? Bitcoin's more bullish than ever, sure, right? Like I wouldn't disagree with that. But with all these macro top signals that we saw up here, very likely that we're going to get a massive pullback into a bear market, right? Doesn't mean Bitcoin's dead, right? I'm sure it's super bullish up here. That could help us continue up over the long term. But when that macro top looks like it's coming in, guys, like I really don't care about narratives. I really don't care about retail because honestly, like every top that we've had here, right? Coinbase IPO, literally like almost the top to the day. Oh my God, Coinbase IPO, like this is so bullish. Like this is adoption. What happens? Massive 55% correction. So it's like, oh, honestly, like the narratives and going with those news events is like very dangerous, right? Because it's like oftentimes where you see those bullish news events be the top. Even back here, back in 2019, we had the Facebook announces the Libra stablecoin. Little ass pop up, massive correction with the Black Swan event of C19, right? Up here, literally almost to the day, CME futures launch. Boom. This is more bullish than ever. It's going up forever, right? It does, just because, this could be bullish, right, long term, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to get a massive pullback. So, you have to approach the markets from a logical perspective, not an emotional perspective. What are people thinking here? Coinbase IPO, it's going mainstream. What does that make people feel? Oh my God, it's like mainstream? I thought I was early to crypto. Like, I got to get in now. Like, I got to double down, whatever it is, right? You're feeling that FOMO. That is not what you want to follow, right? I personally don't do that, and it's helped me out a lot, right? So you just like try to understand, like, up here, we didn't really have a ton. I mean, I guess we had some euphoria here. I would honestly argue this is the only time we've seen any kind of euphoria in this cycle. But we also had a lot of time to put in a new all-time high. So, we had some euphoria up here. But, like, up here, another reason why we were looking for new all-time highs was because, like, it's just this is not the sentiment. What we had up here was not the sentiment psychologically what you have for the top of a bull market, right? There was no, like, massive bullish FOMO. There was no bullish news events, really. And that's typically what you see, right? So I would expect as the top is coming in for the news and the narratives all to start coming out. Oh my God, we're never going back down, golden super cycle, right? The tops are where those come in. And if you don't believe me, just come back. Look up the dates yourself, right? That's where you see the tops come in, right? That's why I don't pay attention to events. Now, does it mean it's impossible that because institutions are here that we can't continue up? Maybe that is the case, right? It's just not what we've seen in the past. But the beautiful thing here is by being a technical trader, if the institutions are just going to carry this, right, and if that is the narrative, right, whatever the news event, we don't know what it's going to be, but whatever it is, right, like if it looks bullish and the news is bullish, right, well, I'm not just going to fade that because the news is bullish. I'm always going to go off the chart, right, but if the chart is bearish and everyone is super bullish, I kind of like, oh, yeah, this makes a lot of sense to come down. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. But next major targets, $136,000 to $155,000. Now, locally, we do have some other smaller targets, I would say between about $128,000 and $130,000. So you can just mark those out. $130,000 to $128,000 would be my expected next local stop. But when it comes to like the overall cycle, maybe we get the bigger retracement before hitting these levels. Bull market wise, cycle wise, 137 to 155K is the next big stop. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Said, Frankie, it's RMT's birthday. Time to sing. Yo, shout out to Crypto Billy. Thank you for the super chat. And happy birthday to Retro Mike Tech. Let's go. Hey, bro. Hey. I've actually met RMT in person. Shout out to RMT. I'm not going to say what you're turning. I actually don't know what you're turning, but you don't look a day over 18. Shout out to RMT. Happy birthday, bro. I mean that seriously. I hope you enjoy your day. Be safe if you're out there celebrating. We hope to see you back in here tomorrow. And Crypto Billy with another super chat said, Frankie, it's RMT's birthday. Time to sing Golden. Get his attention. Yo, shout out to Crypto Billy. I will sing happy birthday to RMT at the end of the stream, and we'll do a Applebee's happy birthday. Happy birthday. I don't know what it is. I'll have to look it up real quick before I come in for the fake out. But shout out to RMT. Birthday cakes in the chat for RMT's birthday. Let's go. All right, let's see. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Independent. Yeah, we are retail. Normies are not here yet. Yeah, so obviously we are retail as well. I'm not going to say that we're smart money, but we like to trade with the smart money. Normies are not here. I would agree with that 100%. Honestly, throughout this cycle, like the only time I've seen normies come in was right up here. 10 texts from friends, family. What should I buy? Oh, my God. And I'm like, cool your jets. We just had a massive move up. Wait for a retracement. Of course, nobody listened, and they got pushed. They got wrecked. Hopefully, they didn't sell, but they had to deal with all that drawdown. But yeah, I think it will be. We'll have to see what happens if we push up here, and it's clear that retail is here and the top is forming. Right? It's all reactionary based. Right? If we don't see the top signal here, well, guess what? I'm going to be looking up towards the next target, which I will be looking at local targets as well. But the next major Fibonacci extension sits at about $208,000. It's just not my base case as of right now. I have to see what happens up here in those bigger levels. Right? It's like the same thing here, right? Like just to put this into context, right? When we look for the bull market targets for 2021, right? If I'm doing it the same way that I just did it here on the current price action, what are you looking for, right? Just because we pushed into this final fib level, which was $62,000, and we did that this cycle, it doesn't guarantee that that is where the top is going to come in. I wish it was that easy, right? I would have bought the bear market. I wouldn't even live stream. I'd just be like, hey, just wait for $209,000 to come in. Just because we hit it here does not mean you have to hit it every single final fib level that you have. There's always going to be another fib level above, right? I could pull up another fib level above here, and we never hit it. But for me personally, right, like once you get up to $208,000, if we were able to do that, that is like, I would be looking at that past that as like being very overextended, right? And at the end of the day, there are going to be some kind of a pull. There's going to be some kind of a pullback. We're not just going to like Lambo candle up to $1 million. I mean, hopefully we do. I do hold a lot of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Hopefully it helps out ETH as well. But yeah, I mean, that's just my thought process. Maybe we get up to 137 and we're like, wow, this looks really good, guys. Now we can look up towards 200, right? But you got to play it level to level. That's how you get caught. If you're not doing that, that's how you get caught waiting for levels that are never going to come in. Right? I mean, even if you were looking at local targets, it's not as easy as just like pulling a Fibonacci extension and being like, oh, we got to make it up here to this Fibonacci extension zone, right? Like, why would I be looking up here if the bull market was like coming to an end, timing-wise, 4-year cycle-wise, right? Maybe that's what people were looking at. They were like, oh my God, we broke above this 786, new all-time high into 100K. I mean, maybe that's what they were looking at. I don't know. I think a lot of people were just going narrative-based. They just don't understand how the market moves. I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, if we wind up getting a I'm sorry. This looks so similar to 2021. But same thing. Let me just correct that real quick. Right? Maybe people are looking. This is what I meant to pull this on. Right? Oh my God, we're above the 786. Next target, 79 to 87,000. Right? That would be my next target to the upside. But is there a high probability of that happening? Well, I wouldn't think so. Right? Why? Because once you get back below that 786, this looks a lot more like a lower high. Right? Even though it was a numerical all-time high. It looks more like a liquidity sweep for another drop down. And then as you test your bullish golden pocket 786 retracements, it's like, sure, a higher low could come in here, but when you have your high time frame money flow coming out, I'm not looking for a higher low and a higher high, right? Your 4-day money flow is in the red. You're looking for a lower high and a lower low. So it really depends on what we see up there, right? If I see something like this where it looks like, we put it in a high, retracement, lower low, looks like it's coming in, I'll call for that. If it looks really good, if we came down here, right, it's not that like, if we came down here, I'm just like, that's it, it's over, I don't care what the chart says, right? If we came down here and money flow was looking really good crossing into the green, well, then maybe we would have looked for a higher low and a higher high. But that was not the case, right? So I had to call for lower prices, which thank God wound up happening. But yeah, we'll see what happens, right? We got to play it level to level. Things can change, right? We can get up to 130K and things could look super bearish and say it looks like the top is coming in. But, just from a psychological perspective, you have to understand once that retail is going crazy, super FOMO, Bitcoin's in the news, crypto, oh my God, right? Like this is where you want to start like really paying attention and start playing defense. But we'll see. I pray that I'm wrong. The nice thing about having a more conservative bias, guys, is I think people forget that like you could have a super conservative target and then just reassess the situation. If it looks bullish, guess what you could do? You could say, hey, it looks bullish now. I'm only going to take a little bit of profit and look for higher prices, right? So it's like, I think people like, they don't like changing their bias because they just want to be right? Like the people that want to call for 200K are just going to call for 200K on every pullback because they just want to be right. I could call for 200K. As soon as I see something's different and we're very likely not going to get up there, I'm going to change my bias, right? Why? Because I don't really care as much about being right as I do about making money, right? So it's like, I love being right, but at the end of the day, if something changes, I'm going to flip my bias 100%, especially as a trader. You have to do that. Or not only are you going to get wrecked, you're also leaving money on the table because we make money whether price goes up or down. So that's my thought process long term. Looks very nice. New all-time high. Watch out for the little fake out for the retracement. And just understand if that euphoria winds up coming in and retail finally comes in at some point, that's really where I'm on top watch, right? Even here, I was on top watch, right? Not all-time high top watch, but local top watch. When I had my family start texting me, guys, I'm thinking to myself, I obviously did not think, if you watch the show, I did not think it was the all-time high of the bull market. But warning people up here, right? Like, guys, think about the sentiment right here. The meme trenches are going crazy. Everyone's getting rich off meme coins, supposedly, right? I got everyone and their grandma texting me, what's next? What should I buy? Right? These are psychological signs that a top is coming in. And what was our bias? Our bias was, hey, there's a lot of liquidity sitting down here. Let's see if we can sweep it down to $75,000 to $80,000. We swept it down to 75. We flipped long, and we get the ride to the upside. So we'll see what happens. But yeah. All right, let's continue on here. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Say, married for 40 years. You learn that you are never right. No big deal. I make the money. She's always right. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Let's go. Shout out to all the married folk out there. BNB 2K soon. Should have bought BNB. Shout out to Dynamic Entry. We could try to take a look at BNB, but let's jump into some of the bigger altcoins real quick, guys. Taking a look at Ethereum, obviously. Jumping in here. Tapping against the 786, guys. This is, let me actually pull it up. We have the two ranges that we've been looking at. Bada boom. Come on down to a lower time frame, right? The major range we were looking at here. We faked out above the volume profile. Got the rejection, not off this 786, but it was a previous 786 pulled from here to here. The new 786 is pulled from the high to the new low. But we had this key level up here, which was a 786. That was a level we needed to get above in order to anticipate new all-time highs. What happens? We get the rejection from that 786, and we start cracking back into our profile. At this time, you are looking at this as a bearish setup, right? You are back in the profile. You look for the POC. You look for the value area low, where we had our next big key level of support. Value area low, monthly naked point of control. Deviation below, get back into the range. Next stop is going to be the POC. Very likely, flip that POC as long as you hold above this level. You are looking to cook into the value area high, which we did cook into. And then yesterday we were tapping around this level. We got the breakout, and now we were up against our biggest level on the chart. The full 786 retracement from the high all the way to the low. This is your doorway to new all-time highs, in my personal opinion, right? Same thing as Bitcoin. What did we look at last week on Bitcoin? Watch the macro 786. Pulled from the all-time high all the way to the current low. That 786 is the level to flip in order to get new all-time highs. We get up, we get a little rejection, we break through it, new all-time highs, right? It invalidates the idea of a lower high and a lower low. High, low, lower high, lower low, right? And we were also able to help identify the anticipation of breaking that level by looking at your 4-hour money flow, right? If that money flow is in the green, you're looking for higher lows and higher highs, assisting you in that analysis. On Ethereum, it's very similar, right? There's your macro 786. You got to get above this level. This is resistance until proven otherwise. Once we break above it, there's nothing really above us except the all-time high. Right? So in my eyes, flip the 786, just like on Bitcoin. Flip the 786, look for new all-time highs. Where am I going to be looking for on Ethereum as far as new all-time highs? Well, let's pull it. This is it, right? So 52.23 up to about 54.25. This is the next significant resistance level as far as Fibonacci retracements go. Hold the 786, look for the new all-time highs. That's what I'm looking at. Simply put. Right, 4-hour money flow looks pretty clean. Let's take a look at the daily. Now, this obviously looks similar to Bitcoin with the VWAP coming down on the daily. So just be aware, we are at resistance here. Could get the pullback. Now, for Ethereum, I would just be looking at this, again, the same thing as Bitcoin. And yeah, I'll take a look at the same thing, right? Value area high sits at 45.36. Maybe we get the cool off. If you do get the cool off, this is your first key level of support. I don't think you're going to have any significant retracements here. I guess you do, right? Golden Pocket 786, I'd probably be more looking at this one, right? So this would be kind of local level number 1 to look at for ETH for a potential bounce. Retest that value area high. For an aggressive pullback, higher low, higher high. Break above the 786. You can look for those new upper targets, breaking that all-time high above $5,000. Now, is this the biggest level on the chart? I wouldn't say so, right? Obviously, if Bitcoin winds up breaking back into its range, right? Let's say we get that bigger retracement down to the more significant support down here between 115.8 or 115.7 all the way down to 112K. We get that bigger retracement down here, right? Well, Ethereum might be following suit, right? So get stuck under here. Whoops. Get stuck under that value area high, lose the 786. Can't get back out of the range. What are we looking for? Next likely place for price to go in this profile is probably going to be the POC of the range, which sits right here in confluent, somewhat confluent with the golden pocket, sitting between 4172 and 4077. POC, golden pocket. Below that, you have your 786 and your value area low. This is not as confluent with the value area low, so I would probably just be looking at that POC as a zone. Once we lose that 786, value area low is next, and you might be able to break the lows here, which I would not like to see. Doesn't mean I'm thinking it's going to zero, right? But that would be like medium-term bearish. I'd probably be looking for a bigger retracement down to this value area high. So this would be the next key support level, high time frame, right? Significant support. I'm not saying you can't get something like this, right? But once you break back out down into this volume profile, there's not a lot underneath us until we get down to the golden pocket POC. Now, I could pull up some daily naked points of controls. See, I'm sure we probably have a daily MPOC somewhere between. Yeah, you have 2 daily MPOCs here. I'll just mark these out as honorable mentions. Daily MPOC at 43.85. Daily MPOC here at 42.80. And you actually do have a daily MPOC right here on that 786 as well. So you do have a little bit of confluence there. But for the most part, right, if you're going to look for that full 786 golden pocket retracement, this would be the big level to look at. So that's what I would be looking at on Ethereum. But locally, let's see. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Like bearish divergences, consistent bearish divergences. Higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Rejection, back down below that 786. If you get the cool off, this would be the first next level I would look at, 45.76 to 45.29. And we'll cross that bridge if and when we get there. We'll analyze the price and see, well, hey, what's money flow doing? Is it looking more like lower highs, lower lows, or is it looking like we can put in a higher low here for a massive move up? We'll see what happens. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on Ethereum. Come on, ETH. And I made a bet that I would shave I don't know if I said I'd shave my beard or my head if Ethereum doesn't put in a new all-time high. Thank God that happened by just a tiny bit. I don't have to shave my head, but I would still like to see Ethereum work its way up in here. These are targets we've been looking at for a long time. I think I've made a couple ETH videos talking about those new all-time highs. See if we could cook up there, right? All right, let's continue on here. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Felix. Says, what's up, Frankie? Shout out to you, brother. Welcome in. Welcome in. Can I get a link? Shout out to RH. Said, can I get a link to the video on how to draw MPOCs? I don't have the link, but shout out to Tony D. If you can get that link on the MPOCs, Tony D, if you are here. If you can drop that link to the MPOC video, or maybe Rob, shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Don't forget to show some love to our mods in the chat, guys. If somebody can drop that link, I would greatly appreciate it. Yo, shout out to Connor, says alt season starts the 19th of October, 10:30 p.m. UK time. Trust me, bro, my uncle works for Bitcoin. Your uncle works for Bitcoin too? Bro, our uncles might be friends. I think they might work together. Is your uncle's name Chris? I think our uncles are friends, bro. They've been working at Bitcoin for quite some time. Let's see. Shout out to Crash. I still believe you're gonna shave your calves on stream though. Shout out to Crash. I'll wax my calves live on stream. Let's make a bet on that. If Ethereum doesn't hit 52.23, I will wax my calves live on stream. Pinned comment. Shout out to Felipe. He says, Frankie, thank you so much. For the first time after many failed attempts, I've actually made profit within the value areas because of your free content. Shout out to Felipe. Yo, let's go, bro. There you go, guys. Free content here is extremely valuable. We give away the most free value. My YouTube channel is literally a free YouTube channel. Well, it's a free YouTube channel, but it's a free trading course, guys. Obviously, not everything is perfectly in order. That's why I made the beginner series. Thank you, Tony, for the MPOC video. RH, there you go. But yeah, there is all the information is here. You might have to do some work, gather it all together, run through the beginner series, run through all the other tutorials. You have to put in the work, but it's all here for free. So yeah, shout out to Felipe. Appreciate you, bro. And glad we were able to help. Tony said it only took me 30 minutes. Shout out to Tony D. Shout out to Crash said, oh, talk dirty to me. I'm going to shave my calves. Shout out to Grok, guys. If anybody uses Grok, I never really used Grok, but Mrs. Candles has Grok in her Tesla, and I was messing around with it, and I told it to talk dirty to me. We were driving somewhere, and I asked it to talk dirty to me. Oh, my God. It talked dirtier than I thought it was going to. So I didn't tell you, but, hey, give it a try. Anyway, let's continue on. Chet Ice Kirk says, stream getting saucy, waxing calves. Kind of like a waxing moon. All right. Let's continue on. Demo trading on Blowfin. Is there no liquidation price? Shout out to Nightlight. I would assume there probably is a liquidation price on demo trading mode. I can't confirm that 100%. But yeah, it should say on your open position, it should say like liquidation price if it is there. Maybe they don't put liquidations on demo mode, but I would assume they probably do. All right, let's continue on here. So we took a look at Ethereum, taking a look at Solana, guys. Not a ton to update here on Solana. Obviously, just cooking above this POC. Where's Indian Martini at? Shout out to Indian Martini. He said he took the long here from the value area low. took profit at the POC, moved his stop loss. Now he's in a guaranteed winning trade. He's probably enjoying this move to the upside. But key levels of support remain pretty much exactly the same as what we looked at last week. Within the profile, guys, we've gotten to the value area low, very similar to Ethereum. Tap the value area low. Next stop is going to be that POC. Flip that POC. We can eventually look for a move into that value area high. Doesn't mean it has to happen like this, right? If we do get a pullback, the next big level of support is going to be the anchored VWAP Golden Pocket 786 POC sitting at 218.34 to 211.13. This would be, hopefully, we can hold on top of this anchored VWAP, right? I don't know, again, I don't know if you're going to come up first, down first. It might not even come down to this level, but this is the next key level of support, guys. Sometimes the rotations are a little bit confusing. You get to the POC, above the POC, and then you get a retracement. As long as you can hold this zone, I would say the continuation through the profile into the value area high, which sits at about 248.91, is going to be next in the cards. Other than that, it's the same thing that we looked at last week, right? Not too much to update here. What was Friday? Yeah, Thursday and Friday, we were already chilling up here getting a pullback. That's where we pulled this fib from. So yeah, we just haven't come down to tap it yet. So if we do, that is the place that I will be looking for another bounce. Again, just to continue your move up through the profile. Value area low, POC, value area high. Value area high, POC, value area low. Value area low, POC, value area high. Right? It can get turbulent, right? You get the corrections at the POC, but you stay inside your profile. You're looking for the full continuation. You get the rejection off the value area high, one more pop up, but what happens? You get sucked back down the POC, sucked back to the value area low, and there you go. Right? So hopefully we can see that full continuation for the fulfill the volume profile, and that's the key level of support to look at. Somewhat decent confluence there. Let me see. Do you have it would be so nice if you had like a weekly MPOC in there as well. Nah. Take a look at the daily. You got a ton of daily MPOCs down there. But that is pretty much what I'd look at. I'm not going to confuse everybody with all those extra levels. This is the golden pocket retracement to look at. If we scam up, push into the value area high, that's fine as well, right? I can't, it's hard for me to identify if this is just going to scam right up or if we're going to get that pullback. But I would still say same thing as Bitcoin, right? Daily red dot potentially looking to print. 4-hour VWAP is also rolling over. So, if you get that 4-hour red dot, same thing on Bitcoin, right? With the 15-minute money flow crossover into the red, that might be the thing to look at to see that continuation of the trend down here. So targets to the downside, 218.34 to 211.13. Next target to the upside, 248.83. Let's see. Shout out to Steve. Says Frankie stream going long. Nice. I don't know if you're saying you're gonna go long or if we are going long on this stream. We're never getting off. You can't kick me off, guys. I'll be here forever. All right, so we took a look at Ethereum, took a look at Solana. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything here in the chat. Shout out to Dutchy, said, what did the Tesla say? No, shout out to Dutchy. That is exactly what it said to me. I'm not even kidding. That is exactly what it said to me. Literally no joke. Is literally what they said. I won't say it out loud. I try to keep it somewhat PG here. But anyway, all right, let's continue on here. Let's jump into XRP. Just still nothing really to update. We're just still within our volume profile. We got the rejection from the anchored VWAPs. We looked at this, or rejections from the anchored VWAP. We looked at this last week, right? We're still inside the volume profile. As long as we can hold above this blue zone, guys, I do think, right? Like, ideally, you stay inside the profile. Doorway to the PLC remains open. But, we've just been having this level down here for quite some time. This is your key zone of support. It sits between 292 and 286. Golden pocket, value area low, 786, and at the bottom of this blue box, you also have your bigger golden pocket pulled all the way from the actually, I have to move this down just a little bit, right? So you also have that golden pocket sitting here. So I would actually keep this, right? Like, I would be okay with a pullback into this golden pocket 786 if you can reclaim the value area low. Doorway to the POC reopens. It's not until you lose that value area low decisively where I would anticipate a bigger drop to the downside. The biggest level on the chart for XRP still remains 280, right? Or I guess you can call it 278. If we lose this golden 786 retracement, guys, I'm looking to take out these lows down to 250 to 260. I know we've talked about that level forever, which is why I say there's no real update here. We're just bing-bonging around in the profile. We're above the low. Can we make it to the POC, right? Like, that's the hope. But I wouldn't want to lose this 7. Once I start losing that 786, it's like, yeah, I just would not want to lose the 786. Does it mean that we're going to break the lows if we lose this level? It's the 280 level that I don't want to lose. I would be okay with a retracement down here to reclaim and get the bigger push up. But as of right now, until we get down to this level, technically the doorway to the POC is still open. But this is the level sitting between 292 and 287. Key level that you do not want to lose in the higher time frames is going to be about 278. Lose that, I'm looking to break down 250 to 260. Other than that, not much to update here. Let's see. 16-hour green dot is printing. Daily VWAP coming to the downside. 4-hour VWAP looks exactly the same as Bitcoin and everything else. So, yeah, just kind of still hanging out in this profile. Chopping around. Let's take a quick look at Cardano. Yeah, I mean, honestly, most of the updates here on Bitcoin, guys. Like, altcoins just still kind of chopping around. I even said this last week on the live stream, was like, we are simply between two volume profiles here on Cardano, right? This is the level you do not want to lose, and then this is the level that you want to break above. Right? Losing 50 cents, these lows at 50 cents. Losing 50 cents on Cardano is mega bearish in my opinion. We are very far away from that, right? Until then, right, until we come down and play with this level, we are just in between these two volume profiles. If we get accepted back below this value area high, I'd be expecting a major drop to the downside. My bias as of right now is that based off our higher time frame money flow, such as the 3-day, which is coming up very nicely, 3-day green dot printing, money flow coming up. This is typically a very bullish sign for altcoins to get a bigger continuation to the upside, right? If money flow is crossing into the green and that indicates the overall high time frame trend, it's okay if we get pullbacks, right? We would still be looking for higher lows and higher highs on the macro, right? So I am still in the base case of if we did get a bigger pullback here for Cardano, the big level to look at is going to be the golden pocket 786 sitting between 70 and 61 cents. If you lose the 786, the next level to look at is pretty much the value area high that you don't want to lose. You can come down and test it, but I would much rather hold this golden pocket 786 retracement. We might not even have to deal with that. But until then, I think I even said on Friday, it's like we're just stuck in between these ranges, right? Until we wind up breaking below that 786 or this value area high, there's nothing to update. Until we break above this 786, there's not much to update. This is your doorway to higher prices. Break above this 786, I'm going to be looking. Whoops, where's it at? Once we break above this 786, I am going to be looking for a move into the POC at about $1.20. But until then, this is resistance, right? You want to get accepted into this range, and you do not want to get accepted into this range. But we have a lot of room to chop around here, and I keep saying this, but I'm finally going to finish the statement. Even last week, right? What was last week? All right, talking about how if we chop around and we're here, right, on next week or here, like there's no update here, right? Like we're just chopping around. Like, this is not bearish. This is not bullish. It's just kind of chopping sideways. So, yeah, biggest level to look at to the upside is $1.04. Once we get above $1.04, that's where I'd be looking for the POC to come in, right? And if we had to come into the 786 and get a retracement, value area low, once you break into this range, that value area low at 90 cents is the biggest level to stay above. That's your real doorway to higher prices. I'm looking at it as a zone because they're somewhat close. And, again, you have to get above the 786 to push into the POC anyway. Right? Because once you get above that 786, you're looking to take out this high, which is right above it, the POC. So it makes a lot of sense. So we'll see, right? Hopefully we have more to update here on Cardano at some point soon. All right, let's see. Yo, shout out to Crash said I sent the goat glamping to Tony D on Discord. Shout out to Crash. I appreciate that, bro. How funny would that be, Tony? Check that out. He's about to send me a text message. He's going to be like, bro, this look, he looks fire. All right, let's see. Link, yeah, we could take a look at Link. Shout out to Mohammed. Appreciate you for being here, bro. Let's take a quick look at Chainlink. Where's it at? There she is, right? So Chainlink, we looked at this last week as well, obviously bouncing off of our golden pocket. We looked at this last week. We had already come down and tapped it. Kind of similar to Solana, right? Like Solana held the value area low. We pushed up, and we had that golden pocket sitting down below. We finally tapped this on Chainlink. This is an area, right, where we can look for a potential higher low and a higher high. Why? Well, you have your fib pulled from the impulse to the high. You get above that value area low. Where's the next likely place for price to go? POC. These POCs are magical, guys. They will change your life. High probability move to the POC. POC is the first major level of resistance within the profile and the strongest level within the profile alone. And resistance is resistancing, right? But that's where we look for those Fibonacci retracements in anticipation of a potential continuation of the uptrend. We're getting a nice continuation here off that golden pocket, which is nice to see. If we're able to hold on this level and continue up, I would be looking for a break of structure to the upside here. Low, high, higher, low, higher, high. Very simply put, looking to put, pushing into the POC, and then if we're able to break structure to the upside and flip that POC to support, guess what? Value area high is next, sitting at 30.68. And this is also in line with our longer term Fibonacci retracement on the higher time frames. We have a low, a high, higher low, which we were hoping would come in on that 786 Fibonacci retracement for a higher high to come in, which it could be messy, right? But that higher high would likely be coming in right here, breaking structure to the upside into the value area high. So you have the low, high, higher low, higher high potentially looking to play out. And even locally, you have the low, high, higher low, higher high looking to play out. So next targets, POC and the break of structure to the upside at about 27,112. If we're able to stay on top of that POC, I'm looking for the break of structure to the upside, pushing us into that value area high at about $31, right? Technically, the previous high is at 31.48. Value area high sits at 30.83. Other than that, 16-hour money flow cooking into the green here. But again, be careful for our VWAP rolling over, similar to Bitcoin and everything else that we looked at. Market Cypher B is going to look very similar on everything, to be honest. 2-hour red dot looking to print as well. If you lose that golden pocket, the last place I would be looking for the higher low is going to be the 786 sitting at 1808. Once you lose that, I'm looking down to the value area low. But as long as we hold above it, right? Like even if we lose this 786, right? At the end of the day, you could come down really close or even retest that POC. As long as you can hold on top of that value area low, doorway to the point of control is still open. We've seen stuff like that happen on things like Solana, right? Right here. You get above the value area low, and what happens? You hit the POC, you get a retracement all the way almost back to the value area low, but as long as you hold that level, you're looking for the continuation up into the POC. Sometimes it's ugly, sometimes it's confusing, but overall you're looking for that range to fill in full. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on Chainlink. Can Clash go back to all-time highs? So we actually, shout out to George. He told us to take a look at that last week. Oh, man, am I going to be able to find this again? I think it was this one. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know. There's nothing on the chart really that's going to tell me if a meme coin can go back to all-time highs. I mean, if that thing dies, it's going to die. So the charts aren't really going to help you out with that, to be quite honest with you. So, yeah, maybe. I hope so for anybody that holds it. But, yeah, it's just, we even looked at it. There was not much I could do on the chart because we had a lack of price action, and it's just like a newer coin, right? And it's a meme coin. So, how much Clash does George own? I have no idea. What about Ondo? Yeah, we could take a quick look at Ondo. No problemo. Let's take a look. Am I blind? Where is Ondo? There it is. All right, taking a look at Ondo. We actually looked at this we look at everything. We looked at this last week. We're still above this value area low. I mean, still the next target to the upside remains. Like, this is all the same. POC golden pocket sitting between $1.01 and $1.04. Right? Stay above this value area low. Next target is the POC golden pocket. I would expect turbulence here, but once you get above it, you're looking for that 786. Very simply put, these are the key levels. Value area low sits at 93 cents. That's your level to hold above. Right? It's okay to come sweep a little bit, right? But it's really the breakdown and the bearish retests and the inability to get back above that level that indicates the drop to the downside. But when we look at money flow here, 3-day money flow is in the green. This is indicative, more often than not, that the longer-term continuation is going to be to the upside. Fresh 3-day green dot printing, money flows in the green. Let's look for that POC golden pocket. It's not until you lose that value area low at 93 cents that I would be, looking for a bigger drop down. If we get that bigger drop down, well, guess what? We have the golden pocket, bigger POC, sitting down here between 83 and 78 cents. So I'll just keep it on the local levels because it might take us forever if we're going to get that move back down here. But I would just say hold on top of this value area low. Next target is $1.01 to $1.03. Once you break above the golden pocket, where's the next place for price to likely go? Well, we're going to be looking up towards that 786. When you break above the POC, where's the next place for price to likely go? Value area high. Both of those levels are confluent. So that's your value area. POC sits at $1.01. Value area high sits at $1.08. Again, confluence on the golden pocket and the 786 on both those volume profile levels. All right, let me come in. Yo, shout out to Creighton C. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Yo, $50 super chat. Shout out to Creighton. I appreciate you, bro. You're crazy, man. He says, happy birthday, Mike. Hope you're doing well. FYI, Frankie, quickest all-time high ever? Shout out to Creighton C. I hope not. I hope not. That would be kind of brutal. That would be kind of brutal. I really do hope not. But as always, got to be careful of those fake outs. Oh, man, I hope not. I hope not. That would be so sad. Shout out to Seth, said Ondo to $3 to $5 in my opinion. Shout out to Seth Shepard. Yeah, I mean, when you start to look at the bigger targets, right? And again, we have a couple of different ranges that we were looking at here on Ondo. Let me actually organize this just a little bit here. Right? Look at the bigger range. Right? This larger volume profile here. Yeah, I mean, your larger volume profile is tapped, right? Which in which case you would kind of look for the full rotation back down to the low, which sits at 66 cents. But again, context-wise, 3-day money flow crossing into the green, I would still be looking for more upside here until proven otherwise on those local levels. Maybe you got a little bit of I think we looked at this last week, a little head and shoulders, potentially. Not something I would really pay much attention to, but yeah, I don't even know where your neckline would be there. Like maybe something like that. It's kind of wonked out. You know, people would have looked at it like this, you know. But I will pull some all-time high targets. Yeah, $2 would be like, I mean, that would be honestly pretty conservative in my opinion, which I like. But if we pull the fib from the high to the low, pull up our extension levels, right? Yeah, I mean, 250 to, yeah, I mean, 250 up to about $3, $3.08. I mean, this would definitely be the next level. If we break into new all-time highs, this is the first zone I'd be looking at on Ondo. So definitely got extension levels up there. So shout out to Seth. I don't hate those targets. And then listen, we get up there, we flip that 786. That's your doorway into this zone, right? Break above the 786. I'm for sure looking for all-time highs in this zone. And then once we get up there, right, you're probably going to get some turbulence, right? These are a self-fulfilling prophecy. A lot of other traders are looking at these levels, so you might get the resistance there. But if it still looks good for another rip up, I mean, hey, you got another target up here between about 408 and 461. Can't guarantee that comes in. I mean, heck, I can't even guarantee this comes in. But, you know, it depends on what price looks like when we get up there. But I would say for a first major bull market target, if we see alt season come in, this would be a nice place to start looking between $2 and $3 and then reassess the situation, start looking up towards 4 to 460. So there you go. And just to be clear, right, like the reason, right, anytime you tap a value area high, the higher probability is that you go down towards your point of control and then fill the range and fold to your value area low, right, for the full fill of the profile. This is in the cards, right, but when we look at our local range and our high time frame money flow, right, and at the end of the day, right, where's this golden pocket that we're looking at? It's right on the POC. But the reason why I'm not necessarily sitting here saying that I have to hit this value area low, the reason for that is because we have our money flow coming up into the green on the 3-day, right? This indicates low, high, potential higher low, higher high, even if you tap into this golden pocket, right? So even if you push down here, I just don't know if you're going to have to get that drop all the way down to 65 cents. You might just be able to put in a higher low on the golden pocket and continue up based off the higher time frame money flow. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on Ondo. Let's see. Shout out to Seth. Said I used fib extensions too. Shout out to Seth Shepard. You must be looking at the exact levels I'm looking at. Let's go. Shout out to Creighton C. Said Retro Mike Tech. Those dang Ferrari guys. Dude was in a Mondial. It's like he looked for the worst Ferrari ever. Is Mondial, is that a type of Ferrari? Shout out to Creighton C. Please let me know. Shout out to Wick 589. Said, got it. Swapping all my XRP for Ondo. Let's go. Ferrari folk? Is that a thing? Do people with Ferraris have like a stigma? Are they? I would assume. I feel like Ferraris are like old money snobs. Lambo owners are like the new money. I don't know. I feel like Lambo owners aren't as snobby as Ferrari. I feel like Ferrari owners have their nose up in the air. Quietest all-time high. Sorry, it's just really quiet for an all-time high. Shout out to Creighton C. Honestly, I mean, yeah, I would say like getting the there's many different things, right? Like obviously the charts are my main thing. I'm almost 100% a technical trader, but you know, sentiment is a real thing as well. Like especially if we get the pullback from here into these bigger levels of support, right? This would make me really, really kind of happy, right? Because if we had massive retail attention right now, I'd be really, 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 really worried. It's like really that retail attention that starts to make me think, right? When does retail come in? They typically come in at the top. And to be quite honest, guys, like throughout this entire cycle, retail has kind of been dormant, right? If you look at the search term analytics for Bitcoin, crypto, all that stuff, right? We have not gotten anywhere near what the retail sentiment was back here in 2021. I mean, it's absolutely insane. It makes absolutely no sense. So, yeah, I mean, it kind of makes me feel good, right? Because, like, typically we see that retail flood in at the top of the market, which might mean we're still pretty far off the top. But it is kind of obnoxious, right? Because it's like, let's get the show on the dang road, right? And hopefully it can happen very quickly. Again, Q4, and we're in Q4. Q4 in 2021 was the top. Q4 in 2017 was the top. Q4 in 2013 was the top. So, you know, if there is a time for them to come in, hopefully it's soon. You would think it would be soon. I mean, at least for me, right? I would generally think that is going to be the next thing. So that's just my thoughts. All right, let's see here. But I like McLaren. Shout out to Dutchie. I'm a big McLaren guy. I like McLarens. I just feel like, I mean, I like Lambos too. I'm not gonna lie. I like Ferraris too. I'm a car guy. I like all cars. I mean, I like the dang bubble Hondas with the laptops in the car, in the passenger seat. I mean, those are some of the coolest cars. But exotics, I mean, McLaren. I wish McLarens were more reliable. It's just everybody that owns a McLaren is just like horror story after horror story after horror story. Like 720S though, man, that thing is a spaceship. I just wish they were more reliable. It's like they call the Lamborghini the Honda Civic of supercars because they're number one super reliable, and I feel like it's kind of like an entry-level supercar. But McLarens are just like, people look at that, and if they don't, it's like, you know. If not, it's like, what is that spaceship-looking thing? 720S, one of my favorite cars. Let's see. My Toyota will decimate all after I spent $20K or more to overnight parts from Japan. Yo, shout out to Retro Mike Tech. I just saw a video of some guy with a crazy swapped out like Fiesta, and he was just like wrecking people on the street. It was absolutely lit. I think retail is using AI and not Google. Maybe. Can we look up the AI chat analytics? That'd be nice. But no, I think we will see, you know, when retail comes back in, people are going to be Googling crypto for sure. I would expect that all to come back, rolling back in. Shout out to Celinda, said Carl from the moon calling for 300K. Let's do it. 300K. Yeah, I mean, listen, yeah, impossible, no, right? But is there anything on the chart right now that says like we're going to 300K? Like, I wouldn't say so, not based off the chart at least. Maybe as like, I'm not saying that you can't have these high targets, guys. Like, I know sometimes like having conservative targets sounds like, man, this guy's like super bearish. Like, not at all, right? But again, like, I think most people are here to make money, right? I don't think I'm wrong about that. So it's like, you know, can I call for 200K? Like, I could be sitting here, guys, like, let's wait for 200K, but I don't know. It's just like, I wasn't one of the people looking for 100K down here. I'm not going to be the people looking for 300K. You know, if there's a reason on the chart, you will see me upload a video that says, like, this changes everything. And, you know, again, never trade thumbnails. Like, this is obviously not what you want to do, but, like, if you look at my thumbnails, they are usually pretty spot on, right? Do not trade my thumbnails. But the reason for that is because I call for certain stuff after there is a reason for it to happen, right? We were looking, I think last week on one of our live streams, the title was literally all-time highs next. And the reason for that is because of things that are happening on the charts, not me just being like calling for all-time highs every time we get a dip. And usually a few days later, if not the next day, you do wind up seeing that play out. And I always cover the other case because at the end of the day, I think like a lot of people are like, they don't want to say that both situations are possible, right? Like, I could say the chart looks super, super set up to push into 137K, but at the end of the day, you got to be ready for crazy fake outs, right? You got to be ready for that, not only to protect yourself, but also to capitalize on moves to the downside, right? If you're looking for shorts. That's me personally, right? Like, anytime we push into all-time highs, you know, people hate me when I come up here. I mean, I don't think they hate me, but like they just hate to hear that, like, hey guys, I don't know, like it looks like if we close that weekly candle below the 786, it looks like it could be a fake out, and I'm gonna take a short. And people are like, you're an idiot, bro. You're a bear. You're gonna get wrecked. And it's like, I'm not a bear or a bull. I am a trader, right? I don't hate it. I don't date it. I just trade it, right? I guess I am kind of dating Bitcoin with my spot bags here. It's a, medium term relationship though. But at the end of the day, right, when I say I'm looking for a pullback here, I don't just think Bitcoin's going to go down forever, but hey, if I can make a few $1,000s on this drop to the downside, you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to do that, right? And I don't know why more people don't look for that, right? Like, why would you not want to make money on the moves to the downside? But you can take these shorts and still remain bullish long term, right? Like we were, right? 107K. Massive support, looking for long positions for a continuation up. Does it mean that we're guaranteed to go up? No, but the probabilities are high, right? If we lost this level, guess what? I'm flipping more bearish now. People be like, you changed your bias. Look, I hope you change your bias too. Like, I don't know why, I think like a lot of people are just gambling, right? Like they're just hoping to hit on a big bet. People called the all-time highs back here, back here, back here. Oh my God, the top is in. This looks exactly like 2021. How could you not see this? This is literally the top for Bitcoin, and it's the decisiveness. It's the certainty, right? You're an idiot if you think the top isn't in, right? Well, what happens, right? Like they call for the top, they disappear, right? And then they call for the top, and they're wrong, they disappear, right? They call for the top, they're wrong, they disappear, right? It's like, I think it's people just want to, I'm shout out to Carl from the Moon, I'm not saying he does this, but I'm just saying, like, I think a lot of people, whether it's content creators or your friends or whatever, it's like, they just want to be right? And I'm not as interested in being right as I am interested in making money. If I'm wrong, I just pray that I can find out that I'm wrong soon enough where I could capitalize on the move to the downside. Now, we looked for all-time highs here back in August, right? And it's like, we got the all-time highs, and then guess what? It looked like a fake out, and I guess I don't switch my bias because we hit the all-time highs. Mission complete, right? But this was also an opportunity to get a massive move into new all-time highs again. But as soon as I see that fake out, guess what I do? I change my bias, right? And I flip short. And guess what? We made a lot of money on that, right? So, if anybody's new here, and you're like, he said he was bearish, he said he was bullish, like, what the heck is going on? We're traders here. We make money up and down. I recommend you do the same, right? Now, if I thought the top was in forever here, I would have sold all my spot, right? Which I didn't, obviously. All right, let's see. Shout out to SB Knows. SB Knows. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Says, hey, Frankie, if this is the last 2 months of the bull run, are you going to let us know when you are going to start selling your bags? Shout out to SB Knows. I actually already told you. Assuming that we get up there, right? 137 to 150K is where I plan on taking my next big take profit. And to be quite honest, I didn't really take, I took like very small profits up here at my first bull market target. I'll pull them back up, right? Bull market target number one was between $92,000 and $102,000. I locked in a little bit of profit here. Did not think the all-time high was in forever, right? But who knows? I could have been wrong, right? My anticipation is target number one and eventually target number two between $137,000 to $156,000, right? Or $55,000. I took a little profit here. I didn't think it was the top, but guess what? I could have been wrong. I would have at least locked in some money if I was totally wrong, right? But again, if we get up here, if we're able to, this is the next place I'm looking to take significant profits. And I'm going to take a lot more profits here than I did down here, right? Why? Because down here, we had plenty of room to put in a new all-time high based off the 4-year cycle, based off the fact that we didn't have rate cuts yet. There was a lot of reason to anticipate higher prices here long term. I was bearish up here, and we shorted this for the move down to $75,000, right? I shorted about, I think, $102,000 all the way down to 75. I was bearish for that move down, but that doesn't mean I'm not anticipating new all-time highs longer term, right? I understand that the market moves in ebbs and flows, right? Ebb, flow, ebb, flow, ebb, flow, ebb, flow, right? And then longer term, it's ebb, flow, right? So if I think I can catch a significant swing trade here and make some money on the way down, excuse me, why would I not do that? That's my job. That's my earned income. That's like my actual job. I have to work for that money. I have to do the TA. I have to take the trades, right? My passive income is the long-term spot bags I bought down here on Bitcoin. That passively makes me a bunch of money and builds my wealth. And then my earned income is trading day to day, week to week. So my next take profit, I already said it, right? If we get up to 137 to 155K, I'm looking to take some profit up there for show. Much more aggressively than here. Why? Because you can see we are potentially getting much closer, right? There's a much higher probability that we are close to the top here than it was back here. So I will be taking much more profit here, right? And again, this also has a partly to do with the fact that I'm in from down here, right? So it's like, maybe people that just got in down here might not, they'd be looking at that as their first target. And then they're looking to take more aggressive profits at 200K, right? But, I don't know if we're going to get up there. Hopefully we do, right? I'm never going to tell you that it's impossible to get to 200K, even if it's not my base case. If we get up there and it looks like we have another macro top coming in, I'm taking aggressive profits. If it looks really good, I'll probably still take aggressive profits and just probably call for higher prices, right? Because again, if we get up to, if I hold my bags up to say 150K, right? Let's say 137K. If I hold my bags up here, right? Like I've already enjoyed multiple hundreds of % of gains, right? So do I really care if Bitcoin goes from 150K, 140K up to, I'm missing out on another 50% gain? I would rather take my money and run, right? And potentially roll some of that profit into altcoins, right? Where I can get a bigger gain than 50%. But that's just my plan, right? Like everyone has a different plan. Everybody, some people bought their Bitcoin down here and still haven't sold it, right? They're just going to look to hold it forever. So it really just depends. I just share with you guys what I like to do and what has worked for me in the past. So, and hopefully I help you guys in the process. Everyone has their own situation for how much BTC they should or should not keep. Absolutely. Shout out to Seth Shepard. 100% agree. I got layered stops. Looks like they may start getting popped one way to TP, I guess. Shout out to Ray. As long as you're closing it in profit, bro, I would say that's a pretty good thing. Pengu. Yeah, we can take a look at Doge and Pengu real quick. Let's go ahead and check it out. All right. Let's take a look at Dogecoin here real quick. A little Doge. Pull it up on the altcoin template here. All right, so Dogecoin, kind of the same situation as last week, right? Just holding on top of our golden pocket anchored VWAP. Very nice. This is a very important anchored VWAP to hold, guys. This is pulled from the low here at about 14 cents. Again, looking at this from a volume profile perspective, very simply put, I'll even take the anchored VWAP off. All right, long term, let's take a look at what we got going on. We are inside of the volume profile. Above the low, POC is next. Cool off, you hold the value area low, doorway to the POC is still open. Little pullbacks, doorway to the POC is still open. Once we flip this point of control at 26 cents, we can potentially get our bigger move here up to the golden pocket 786 / value area high of the range, sitting between 34 and 40 cents. This is the anticipation of the full volume profile. Again, I always bring up Solana because recently we've had that beautiful rotation. It's the same thing. From the low to the POC, chop, flip the POC, value area high. Little bit of chop, rejection back down, fill it to the low. Same thing on the way up. It is on the same. It's the same way on the way down. Right? That's why we're potentially looking for that range to fill up here on Solana, and on Dogecoin, it is exactly the same. Right? So these are high time frame key levels. Point of control, 26 cents. You got to hold this, right? It doesn't mean that you can't fake it out, right? But once you get up here, this opens the door to fill that volume profile in full. Could be choppy, could get back up here, pull it back again, get back up here, pull it. I don't know exactly what the candles are going to look like, but the overall thought process, if you could trust within the volume profiles and your analysis, right, looking at our 3-day money flow being in the green, this is, again, a bullish sign for altcoins to continue the trend to the upside. As long as this money flow stays in the green, you could be looking for higher lows and potentially higher highs, targeting that next big resistance level. So pretty simple on Dogecoin. Value area low sits at 17 cents. As long as we don't lose that, I wouldn't expect any massive dumps on. I mean, I guess you can consider that massive, but like we start losing this value area low again, that's very bearish, right? But until then, even if we get pullbacks again, right, you can potentially kind of play around here and still continue up through the profile. So longer term, it does look pretty good. 3-day money flow crossing into the green or continuing in the green. 4-hour green dot printing with a fresh money flow crossover. These are high time frame money flow crossovers. Last time we had a significant 4-day money flow crossover, where did that happen? It happened right here. You get a bounce from the value area low. You flip the value area low, POC value area high. You start to retrace into the point of control, but your money flow is crossing into the green. So you can look for the higher low and the higher high. This money flow crossover indicates that the trend is more likely to continue to the upside long term. It doesn't mean you can't pull back, right? But it indicates that's where you're looking for higher lows and higher highs. Obviously targeting the value area low of that previous range. So that's, and at that point from the crossover to the next high was 214%. If you want to include this entire move up, right? It was really a 530% pump. So just to show you kind of what these 4-day money flow crossovers can do, and not even the 4-day money flow crossovers, but even like the 3-day money flow crossovers, you can see here. I mean, even here you got like one little crossover, right? You get the crossover into the green. You could potentially anticipate higher lows and higher highs. You did fake out into the red a little bit, but even when you cross back over here, right? Big continuation of the trend. So 4-day money flow crossover, nothing to scoff at, right? This could help us continue, and it's fresh. It's fresh, meaning the move can still be early. All right, so hopefully we can continue that bigger trend to the upside, targeting the 34 to 40 cent value area high. What was the Dogecoin and fill the CME gap at $1 first for Doge? CME gap at $1. Shout out to, I don't know who said that. I just lost it. But there's no CME gap at $1. All right, let's see. Holding BTC for the kid. Shout out to JD. Let's go, man. Not a bad idea. Dot is a poser. Yo, shout out to Road Dog. Dot is a poser. I mean, Dot has a very similar situation to Dogecoin, honestly. 6-day money flow coming up. I mean, this is just general trend, guys. Like, I mean, this is pretty positive, right? Money flow crosses into the green. Guess what we're going to be looking for? We're going to be looking for higher lows and higher highs over the long term. But even when you look at time frames like the 3-day, right? 3-day money flow crossing into the green. Your 4-day money flow looking to come up into the green as well. Doesn't mean it has to happen today or tomorrow. But just generally, that would make you anticipate the trend continuation to the upside. All right, let's see here. Yes, we did. Shout out to Bilal. Welcome in, bro. We did do XRP just a few minutes ago, actually in the beginning of the stream if you scrub back. It does have an actual community, which is nice. I think you're talking about Dogecoin. Pepe time. Shout out to Keith. We can take a look at Pepe, or PP, as some people like to call it. That's what I personally call it. All right, Pepe. We have not looked at Pepe in a little while. Dying to hold on top of this value, this 786, right? You got your low, your high. You want that higher low to be held on the 786. It looks a little sketchy in my opinion, but you are above the 786. If you could hold on top of this, right, it could be the higher low, get a break out of the value area high, and you would be looking for a break of structure to the upside here, targeting the value area low of your previous range, which does sit at 1716 up here at that value area low. Right, so just to kind of walk you through that, you have your low, your high, potential higher low on the golden pocket for a higher high. We couldn't break it, right? We came back down. We're now testing that golden pocket once again. And again, this local fib that I just pulled, whoops. Obviously, this is shorter, lower time frame. So it's also, you know, if you lose this 786, it's not all lost, right? I would expect to come down and if we lose this 786 at 968, I will expect a break of structure to the downside here of about 835. But the nice thing there is the bigger Fibonacci retracement does actually come in on the POC, sitting down here at about 765 to 806. So at the end of the day, you have your low, your high. You were hoping for a higher low here for another higher high to push you into that level. But we got accepted back into the range. So, you know, if, you know, technically if we tap this once, twice, 3 times, technically, if you hold on top of this, you could still potentially put in the higher low. But in my opinion, right, usually the more time you tap these fib levels, the weaker they get. But the nice thing is if you do break that, you still have that 786 to still hold that higher low on the higher time frames for the continuation of the uptrend, targeting the next major target at 1716 at that value area low of the previous range. And then money flow looks very similar to everything else that we just looked at, right? 4-day money flow cruising into the green here. Very nice to see. 3-day money flow in the green. 5-day money flow kind of looks like trash. Still a little chopped up here on that higher time frame money flow, guys, to be quite honest. 6-day looks pretty brutal as well. Weekly money flow, yeah. High time frame money flows, even like on Bitcoin, as we've been looking at, right? It's like your weekly money flow looks good. Your 6-day money flow looks good. Your 5-day money flow looks bad. Your 4-day money flow looks bad. Your 3-day money flow looks super nice, right? Your 2-day money flow looks kind of sketchy. So high time frame money flow is still a little bit hard to read. So I am putting a little bit more emphasis on the key levels. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking at on PP. Fart coin, will it skyrocket? Maybe targeting $1.60. We could take a look at Fart. Let's take a look here. All right, so Fart coin, $1.16. Not saying there's not a level there. But my next targets here, obviously, last time we looked at Fart coin, this is your biggest key level of support. Weekly and monthly naked points of controls. Losing that 786 was very bearish. If we lost that 786, well, guess what? We're looking to, if we look at this, right, this is pulled from the absolute low. Losing that would be very bearish, but we're holding it currently, which is nice. So next target here for the bounce is to push into that value area low, right? And you do actually have some nice bullish divergences on the 2-day. Higher lows on your momentum waves, lower lows on your price into that key level of support. You got to flip this level, 74 cents. If you could flip this level to support, this opens up the doorway to the point of control, sitting at about $1.03. Break above the POC. I'm looking for the full golden pocket 786 retracement, sitting between $1.24 and $1.45, also confluent with your value area high of the range. Got to get above here. You are literally tapping into absolutely critical support resistance. This is the doorway to higher prices. Doorway to higher prices. Now, looking at our money flow here, daily money flow attempting to come back into the green. It looks a little bit cautious there. It looks like it might be rolling over back to the downside, but it is trending in the right direction. 2-day money flow trending in the right direction. 3-day money flow coming out. 4-day money flow in the green, and then we lose our money flow there on Fartcoin, unfortunately. But 16-hour crossover into the green. I mean, you got that 16-hour and 12-hour money flow in the green. So, I would hope, biggest level to look at here for the continuation of that trend to the upside is going to be this. I guess the 786 here at 58 cents, technically. And just keep in mind here, guys, very key level to hold, but we still have not touched that 786. So if you did have to get a drop back down here, this level, this monthly MPOC and weekly 786 is still valid, technically. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, you're just fighting up against major resistance, right? You get that to support, go look for the continuation up. I like the 16-hour and 12-hour money flow. Could indicate the trend continues. But you are very close to cracking back into this volume profile. These are the key levels I would watch. So there we go. Shout out to Rakan, said I just shorted it at that resistance. Shout out to Rakan. Hopefully that plays out for you, bro, because again, looking at the lower time frames like the 4-hour, it is resistance, right? VWAP on the 4-hour, not as close to crossing over like Bitcoin for the red dot. But you can take a look, 3-hour, 2-hour VWAP coming down. Money flow, it's the daily looking like. Yeah, let's check the 1-hour money flow. You get the 1-hour money flow crossover. Yeah, it's a little further behind. You got the 1-hour red dot, 2-hour VWAP looking to cross over. It's not as far along as Bitcoin, in my opinion. Right, looking at Bitcoin, you got the 4-hour red dot, like pretty close to printing there. So we'll see what happens. Let me get back to Fartcoin real quick. There it is. But yeah, that's the key levels, right? Like unless we lose that 786, I wouldn't really be freaking out. I would just be looking at that as an ebb or flow to the downside for a potential higher low, for an eventual higher high. But yeah, biggest level to look at to not lose is 51 cents. You lose that, that's much more bearish in my opinion. I wouldn't mind testing it, but I definitely would not want to lose it. And then reclaim this, definitely much more bullish. You don't really have any like medium. Let's check the 4-hour. I guess you do somewhat have bearish divergences here into your resistance. Money flow is kind of fighting against you there, though. But yeah, definitely resistance. See if you can get the pullback. Shout out to, forgot who said it, but hopefully that plays out. Shout out to Rakan. Hopefully that plays out for you, bro. Aster, shout out to Christianus. Let's take a look at Aster. We do have an Aster chart here somewhere. Where's our, maybe it's the, Bybit chart. There we go. All right, so Aster. I just got my bearings here real quick. Golden Pocket 786. We already got the rejection from the Golden Pocket 786. This is still kind of the level that I would like to break. 223. Break above that. You could look for a crack above the high here. Still the line in the sand for me personally. You are getting accepted back into your profile potentially. Let's take a look at some of the higher time. Oh, we don't have any information on the higher time frames. Yikes. So keep this in mind, guys. I can't see money flow in these higher time frames. Nothing on the 6 hour. 5 hour is even a little bit early, but you do have money flow crossing into the red with your red dot looking to print on the 5 hour, 4 hour money flow. Man, money flow is so chopped up. So, I mean, you're up against the value area high. You're rejecting your golden pocket 786, not only your full golden pocket 786 here, but also your local 786, right? So if I were to update these levels, I would be looking at this as key resistance. All right, so locally you want to get above this 786, but for the most part, you want to get above that bigger 786 that I just brought up. So you are up against resistance. 4 hour, 2 hour red dot printing, 3 hour red dot looking to print. Let's check the lower time frame money flow. 15-minute money flow already crossing over into the red here. So you could definitely get a continuation down here based off your volume profile. POC is your next key level of support at $1.95. And at that point, right, if you get down here and you cannot hold this as support and you start losing this POC, 4 hour red dot is probably printing. 15-minute money flow is already in the red. Man, I wish we had more information on these higher time frames, guys. So I'll just give you the key levels because this is a little bit difficult. Definitely at resistance here with your lower time frame money flow coming out. Even your 30-minute and your 24-minute are coming out. 15-minute crossing into the red. Same thing on Bitcoin, right? It's like that 4 hour red dot is probably the thing that's going to start that bigger correction. So POC at $1.95 is your next big level of support. Breakdown below that. Could be on your way back down here to that bigger level of support on the value area low at $1.55. So hopefully you can hold above that POC for a bigger breakout. But again, I just can't identify that longer term trend because there's no information on money flow on the higher time frame. So POC at $1.95, value area low slash gold. 786 is already tapped there. So value area low, daily MPOC. I would watch this. $1.55 is your value area low. Yeah, I just don't want to call for that continuation up earlier than the value area low because I can't see that high time frame money flow. So POC is your first level. Lose that. I'm probably going to be anticipating a drop down to that value area low. You can always look at your local fibs from the low all the way to the high. We've already gotten a bounce off that golden pocket. Again, if I could see that high time frame money flow, maybe there's a reason to look for the breakout, which is very, very difficult. I would just be careful around this value area high because it is a very confluent level of resistance, and you have the medium time frame red dot. So I would watch at least $1.94 if you get the pullback. If not, do you have the give me the golden pocket 786 right there. So I would hope that you hold this level. If you get the bigger pullback and you start losing the POC, you're hoping for a quick rip. Hold it. Reclaim, and then hope for a bigger move up. If you lose that 786, I'm looking down towards the value area low. That 786 sits at $1.84. Lose $1.84, I'm looking down towards about $1.55. Shout out to Derek said, what's the deal with Aster and the wash trading thing? Also, what is wash trading? Shout out to Derek. I don't know what the deal is with that. I'm not sure. I did not hear about it. AST probably not going to drive the price on its own. Thank you, bro. Shout out to Christianus. I don't know how to say your name, bro. I apologize, but no problem, bro. That's why we are here on the charts every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yo, shout out to Mr. New Creation. Said check the 4-hour money flow on Bitcoin compared to history. We actually did this in the premium Discord earlier today. This money flow is higher than it has been in quite some time. We're at the about 53.2 level. This has not happened in forever. The last time we got anywhere near that level, on money flow for Bitcoin was all the way back here in October of 2023. Very thick money flow on the 4 hour. Absolutely. Right. And if you look at that, excuse me, if you look at this, right, it's just like, I mean, this was kind of super weird price action, just grinded to the upside before the big move up. But yeah, I mean, has not been there in quite some time. It's really funny that you brought that up because we literally looked at this before. I mean, this is the highest 4 hour money flow has been in forever. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. But with that being said, guys, I think that is all the time we got for today's live stream. Just before I let you go, keep an eye here. We got the SFP. If you just tuned in, scrub back to the beginning of the stream to get the sauce on Bitcoin. But your 4 hour swing failure pattern is confirmed here. Looking for a potential continuation down into our key levels of support. And if you want those levels, I'll give them to you right now. Where's my actual chart here, right? So you got the SFP. You got the 4 hour red dot looking to print. That's what I would look at as far as a signal for the continuation down. SFP, 4 hour red dot, 15-minute money flow. I would love for this to continue down as well. If you get the 4 hour red dot with the 15-minute money flow crossover into the red, that is where you would look for the continuation down. Key levels underneath you, real quick, are going to be sitting at the value, I'm sorry, not the value area high. I would be personally looking at the golden pocket at about 123,338, and then the 786 in value area low. I'm not even going to keep an eye, like, understand the fib levels are there, guys, but I don't want to confuse everybody. Like, I would just look at this as a volume profile. Get stuck under the POC value area high. We could potentially get that bigger continuation down towards the value area low. I will be using this level as day trades and scalps, maybe tomorrow, depending on how fast we get down there. But the next biggest levels of support, if we get a bigger correction here, like, I'm not going to look at this as like massive swing trade opportunities. I'm going to be looking at these as scalps until proven otherwise, like I explained in the beginning of the stream. If I take a long down here at the value area low, I'm looking for that to be a scalp into the value area high. If it wants to turn into a swing trade, that's great. I'll let that hit me by surprise. But in my opinion, you know, the bigger levels of support and the more important levels of support, let me just get rid of some of this, are going to be sitting on our major current value area, right? If we get a massive correction here, very simply put, what are we going to be looking at? I would just pull my fib from the low to the high, and that gives us these key levels that we talked about before. Daily MPOC golden pocket, 786 value area low, and then obviously you also have the value area high daily naked point of control at about $120,000. 120K, first major level. Still don't like it as much as getting a full Fibonacci Golden Pocket 786 retracement, but it is an honorable mention. Once we come down here and lose this level, I am happy to wait for a push into the Golden Pocket. If we can't hold that, I'm looking at the 786. This is the next place where I'd be interested in significant long positions, just based off the Fibonacci retracements, and I would personally prefer the 786 because of the confluence here on the value area low of the range. So that's what I'm looking at here. Yo, shout out to Sheesh. Josh says, I know you say don't super chat altcoins, but you didn't look at Pengu, so here's $5. Shout out to Sheesh. I'll take a quick look at Pengu here. I'll do some speed analysis on Pengu, and it's nice because it's pretty clean here. Deviation below the low, you're back above the value area low. Next likely place for price to go after you get above this value area low is the point of control. If we can hold on top of this POC, it keeps the doorway open to the value area high at 0.0389. Take a look at the 4 hour real quick. 4 hour money flow is just now starting to cross over into the green. If you can sustain this money flow crossover, I would look at any pullbacks being lackluster for higher lows and higher highs. Once you can stay above that POC, I would eventually target this value area high. Again, 0.03891. So that's your value area high, 0.03891. POC sits at 0.0329, which is the point of control, obviously, and the key level you have to hold to open up the door to the value area high. And then the key level that you really want to hold above is the value area low. If we lose this value area low, I'll be honest with you, you have a little confluence there on the 786. I would not want to lose that 786. If you lose 0.02789, I am looking down. Specifically, I won't even cover all these value area levels, but I would be looking specifically into this weekly naked point of control and golden pocket, right? Because if you lose this 786, I'm looking to take out this low. technically you have the value area high sitting here, but you might just want to go for that bigger golden pocket retracement if you lose this level. But I would say it looks pretty good as far as 4-hour money flow and the fact that you're inside of your profile, right? Like, this is nice. It's not just the idea of being inside the profile. Obviously, you've already seen the POC tapped, but it's also money flow, right? Like, you have nice, you have the nice money flow crossover into the green on the 4-hour. So I would just, again, say if that sustains, higher lows and higher highs could be in the cards, right? So even if you had to come down here and test, right, long term, you might be able to see something like that. But once you lose that 786, I'm probably looking down closer to about 2 cent. Like the 2 cent zone between the weekly MPOC and the golden pocket here. So that's what I would look at on Pengu. We'll see if Bitcoin wants to get the correction. But I will keep you guys updated here with market updates and the live streams every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to Stream Deck is just really trolling me today. With all that being said, guys, that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you. Happy all-time high for Bitcoin, even though it was kind of lackluster. Hopefully we can hold above these key levels and eventually see that final parabola come in. It's like every time we're looking for that final, big move up, it's like we wind up getting that big correction. So it'd kind of be sad if we get it, but I would not be surprised. Watch that 4-hour red dot with the 15-minute money flow crossing into the red to start that move down. And we'll see you guys here tomorrow. Same place, same time. I think I smell macaroni. I think Mrs. Candles is cooking macaroni right now. But with all that being said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time, right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. It's all I got. Shout out to Self-Willed Crypto. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Shout out to 12 Big, New World Disorder, Wick 589, and shout out to Retro Mike Tech. Happy birthday, bro. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong! Stream Deck's trolling me, guys.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
All right, I said I would do it, guys. I said I would get the Applebee's birthday chant for our boy Retro Mike Tech. Happy birthday, bro. I'm going to try to not mess this up. I said, hey, it's your day. Applebee's crew is here to say, we're so happy you're alive. Now let's make some noise and let's celebrate and vibe. Hey, happy birthday, RMT. Thank you for being such a loyal and long-term member of the Candle Mafia. And that's why you get that birthday wish. Shout out to RMT. Happy birthday. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you here. Same place, same time. You know the rest. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag.
Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey.